Stay tuned for this week's episode of Spinning Saturday because I feel like I've let our metalhead brethren down. So today's episode, nothing but metal. Next on Heels and Quads. Welcome back, Heels and Quads Media here on YouTube. I'm Tommy, and I'm back with yet another rendition of Spinning Saturday, ... this time on a Wednesday. Been a crazy week. We did our first podcast episode this week, the first time since Levi became a dad. So 6 to 8 weeks, somewhere in that range. I can't remember the exact day sweet baby Penny was born, but, you know, I'm still a good uncle. So today, I wanted to get this done because I feel like the last few weeks, especially with the Tom Jones records, I've let our metalhead fan base down. So I wanted to give nothing but metal and metal adjacent first up today out of the four. And this is kind of a pish posh mishmash, a mashup of the last few weeks of things I've purchased because it was going to be a few different records, and I decided to kind of put this more, I'll say hard rock heavy metal, because obviously one band I don't really consider metal at all. Some people do, but I don't. No pop, no filler, no puffy stuff, because I feel like a lot of our core fan base and viewers here on YouTube are metalheads, or at least hard rockers. So first up is one that I've recently started collecting, this band, and 80s metal records are so expensive right now if you want to find an original. So this one I happened upon on eBay, which is where I do a lot of my record shopping, because my local store, once in a while, I do have one, at least, local shop. Typically not a lot of stuff that I'm into or, you know, our viewers are into, but I do get quite a few records there. This band started collecting. Obviously, I don't want to pay $80 to $100 for one single record, even though it would be nice to have original copies. But like I always say, once my kids get out of school on their own, don't really need me much on a day-to-day basis. Granted, I know they're still going to borrow money from me for the rest of their lives, which is cool. That's part of being a parent. So, for now, certain records I will have to deal with new pressings or reissues. So this was reissued in 2020. It's an orange with red ink spots variant, US exclusive, 300 copies, and I got it for $27. And I mean, these were gone like the minute they went on sale in 2020. So, with that being said, the debut King Diamond Fatal Portrait from 1986. Obviously leaving Merciful Fate to form his solo band, King Diamond, with Andy LaRock, Mickey D. Standouts on this album, obviously Halloween, I think, is one that a lot of people know. The Candle, The Portrait, Haunted, Dressed in White. Great debut album from a really cool metal band. It's funny because my youngest told me that I was actually watching a King Diamond concert, and he's like, "Dad, you're going to hell for watching this." And I just thought it was kind of funny, because we've always been a house where we didn't really talk like that. But it was just kind of funny, because I was like, okay, well, don't look in the mailbox tomorrow, because I just happened to be watching that the night before this record was delivered. I said, well, don't look when I open the mail tomorrow, because I've got another King Diamond record coming. So it's just, I mean, I think that stuff to me has always been comical. Music isn't really necessarily what your faith is. Like, you can listen to whatever you want. It shouldn't make a difference. It's whatever, you know, floats your boat. It shouldn't make a difference whether it's metal or rock or pop or country. Whatever you like isn't your whole being. The next up, couple from one band that recently I have been collecting the hell out of, and for good reason. My co-host Levi just happens to be his favorite band, and I have grown to absolutely love this band. I've talked about them before, I've talked about that before. I didn't know if I was just like overlooking it because I was so consumed with all of my other obsessions. And my personal taste in music. Like, when I love a band, I love them hard. So now it's become, holy shit, I missed out on so much. So with that being said, first up, from 1983, Peace of Mind from Iron Maiden. Original pressing, no insert. I thought the insert sleeve would be included in this. Not the best copy, but for what they go for on eBay, this was the best copy for the price. I believe I offered $15.99. I want to say $15.99, and he took it. So great, because I couldn't find anything below like $35 for this in decent condition. You can find a really shitty, beat up, like chewed up copy for less than that, but I like to find them in the best condition I can get for the lowest price. That's kind of the whole premise of this show, is rebuilding a collection or building a collection on a budget. And, you know, when you spend anywhere from $1 to $20 on an album, you know, 2 or 3 times a week, but you're not doing anything else really. Personally, like, I'm not spending any money on anything other than that, other than like groceries for myself. I don't go out. I don't smoke cigarettes anymore. I don't drink anymore. So it's the kind of my vice, I guess, is buying records. Stand-up tracks on Peace of Mind, though. The Trooper, Where Eagles Dare. Every Iron Maiden record is, especially in the 80s. I mean, they were the height of their powers, you know. Quest for Fire, Revelations. I mean, everything. And the production on these albums for Martin Birch are so fantastic. I can't say enough about the 80s Iron Maiden. I love the first 2 albums with Paul Di'Anno. I mean, I think he was a fantastic singer. I feel like they were more raw, they were more punk. But, I mean, you can't deny what Bruce Dickinson brought to this band. Next up, I got this, actually, at my local store that I could buy records at for $18. Not in the best shape. The back of the sleeve kind of has a spot where it's torn. The front has 2 creases at the angle. I'll show you that. I'm not going to take it out to show you the back, but then of course, you know, the spines are always worn, but you know, on records you can kind of forgive the spine damage quite a bit. But yeah, from 1984, Iron Maiden, Power Slave. You can see the creases there at the top. But for $18 in person, it's kind of hard. This is one that I've been really seeking out the last 2 months, and could never really come to terms with paying $30 to $35 for a beat up copy. So I'll take this at $18. And like I said, in person, it's hard to turn it down. But Aces High, 2 Minutes to Midnight, which could be my favorite Iron Maiden song overall. Flash of the Blade, Power Slave, Rime of the Ancient Mariner, of course, fantastic closer. We covered this album already. I'm waiting on Levi to do his Iron Maiden videos. He's stuck at number 12. Those are coming soon, apparently. We'll see. As you all know, my favorite band in the world is Kiss, and when I started this journey, I knew I had to have every Kiss album, obviously. I've had them in some form, whether it be vinyl, CD, cassette. I've had them all at some point, bought them all at some point or another. But this one is one that I never really... I've always liked it, and I know I ranked it kind of low as somebody who's kind of... I like this album, but do I like it for what it is, or do I like it because... I feel like this album recently is like everybody's found it and decided they liked it because everybody else has said they've kind of liked it. I feel like I started to like it because of just my musical taste, my musical growth as a listener, from 1981. And it is Kiss, Music from the Elder. This is an original press with the album starting with The Oath, There's the hand. It came with the original clear plastic insert, which is so cool. So different, but that was, always Kiss's kind of thing. We got merch forms, we got fan club, Kiss Army paperwork, we've got envelopes to put that in. So in 1981 with the Elder, it's like, hey, let's have our own inner sleeve with the plastic, which, like I said, I think is so cool. It looks cool. I love the yellow on the clear, the outline of the yellow. But yeah, I mean, it's the Elder. You either love it or you hate it. It's grown on me. I know when I was a teenager and first heard it, I was kind of like, what the fuck is this? Now I'm kind of like, okay, I don't get it. It doesn't make sense still. It's a concept record. I always compare the Elder to Chris Gaines, the Garth Brooks album. And you may or may not like Garth Brooks, but I'm telling a story here. I've always compared this album to Chris Gaines. Because in the late 90s, Garth Brooks developed this alter ego, Chris Gaines. He wanted to do a rock concept album, and it was supposed to be a movie. It was titled The Lamb, which is super weird. But so basically the album that was released was a soundtrack, and that's kind of what this was. This was supposed to be a movie, or at least, some form of story, and it never came. So the album came out, flopped, with the fans, and the critics liked it. And Kiss has said over the years, the critics gave them their flowers, but the fans hated it. And it was kind of cool because I liked this look of Kiss. I liked Gene with the cool side pony with the metal clamp ponytail holder. Paul with the short hair and the purple sweatband. A little weird. I don't know how I feel about that. But the outfits were cool, and I always liked Ace's, onesie jumpsuit thing with the lightning bolt. And I remember the World Without Heroes video. He's playing the acoustic guitar. It always looked cool to me. And then Eric Carr, you get him on an album after their Australian tour and European tour, and I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall, and just kind of like when Eric Carr was talking to, either Ace or somebody else around that wasn't Gene or Paul or Bob Ezrin, and just going, I thought I'd join this great hard rock band. What the fuck is this shit? At some point he had to have said that out loud to somebody, and it's just like, hey, I said that, but don't tell Gene and Paul I said that. I don't know. I like it. I like Dark Light. I like Only You. I like The Oath. I think is a cool rock anthem. Throw in the Rock and Roll Night reference, of course, but kind of just that power of positivity. And like I said, this was a episode where I did heavy metal with King Diamond and Iron Maiden. Kiss, I've never considered heavy metal. They're hard rock to me. But, they are borderline for some people. I never thought they were closer to it with the Animalize and Creatures, Animalize, and Asylum. And Look It Up. They were closer to metal music because they were kind of following that metal trend. But, yeah, I just think it's hard rock. But, World Without Heroes is cool, too. It's just a fun album. When it got delivered, I was on my way to work, stopped, checked the mail. So I was like, man, I gotta wait 8 hours till I can listen to this. And it's a Friday night. It's gonna be 10:30 before I get to listen to it. But got home, put it on, and just listened to the whole thing all the way through. And I don't know if it was that it was on vinyl. I don't know if it was because I was just burnt out from work. But I thoroughly enjoyed that listen. Fully on vinyl for the first time. I'd never heard it on vinyl. I'd never seen this in the wild on vinyl, and obviously I got this on eBay. And I think I ended up buckling for $20. But for original press, and in this good a condition with the plastic inner, I'll take $20 all day, every day for a Kiss record. Because Kiss records just keep going up with, them now retiring, and it feels like everybody's jumping on this train at the end. So anyways, tell me what you got. I know this past Saturday was record store day. Obviously, I don't have an actual record store in my area that does that. I think the closest one is like 2 hours, and I had to work, so kind of put me in a bind as far as getting anything for record store day. But, you know, obviously the Eric Carr stuff, the Bowie record I really wanted. There's a few things I wanted, and I'm just kind of waiting until maybe some stuff comes online that's not eBay, because everybody's going to try to get rid of their stuff there for 3 times what they paid for it. The Motley Crue Supersonics Relics, first time on vinyl, wanted that. But we'll see. Maybe I'll get them down the road. But anyway, so tell me what you got. Did you go to record store day? What did you pick up? What have you picked up over the last week in general? Let me know in the comments, and of course, like this video, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your enemies. I'll see you next time. Sooner than later, actually, because I've got some stuff cooking. So I've got 2 videos on the way. I've got one Spinning Saturday already recorded for this week. So I'm catching back up. But I'll see you next time.